Public Q&A presents AskReddit question. What is something that you're a fan of but don't want to tell people because you'll be grouped in with a really annoying fan base? I am interested in trains. I don't want to meet anyone else who is. So, you like trains, I like trains as well. Interestingly, there was exactly one guy who loved trains and trams in every class I ever went to. Never more, never less. They were all shy about it, but somehow it was a known fact about them and nobody ever asked questions. Your comment made me realize this, and now I feel a bit weird thinking back about it. I went to college with a self-proclaimed railhead. The dude knew literally everything about trains. His knowledge was freaky specific. He knew train numbers and Metrolink or Amtrak routes. He could ID the manufacturer of the engine. He hung out with a group of other railheads that met weekly. They would get together and take videos of trains. I was taking the train home for the weekend, and I shit you not, I saw him and several other happy nerds cheering as the train rolled by honking its horn. I wish I had that level of interest in anything, haha. Personally, I think those elderly men who love trains and are eager to share about them are some of the coolest, nicest people ever. My grandpa is one of those people. He's such an awesome guy, a very chill and level-headed person. I have fond childhood memories of him taking me to the Amtrak station to watch trains on the Tuesday afternoons that he wasn't working. He's retired now. Now I like trains too. I can't afford a model layout, but I can afford to play train sim games. I ride horses. I tell nobody in fear of being called a horse girl. Minecraft. I am a grown-ass man, but sometimes I just want to relax, build a house out of blocks and go fishing. I am not giving my exact age, but suffice it to say that the first computer in my family's house was a Commodore VIC-20. I love building houses, villages, and exploring mines. My son likes to say that my style of playing is lame because I don't play on survival with zombies after me. Fellow VIC-20 owner here. I also play in creative. The survival thing boggles my mind. I don't understand why you'd want to trudge around digging and fighting all the time. But that's why they made two modes, I suppose. I'll focus on building my home theater room while they blow up creepers. I will say it's quite annoying to be admiring my newly built living room only to have a duck waddle by. It's the struggle. Building something wonderful in survival mode is a different sort of accomplishment. It's something you grind out over hours and hours. Not to say creative isn't difficult, or that building magnificent structures requires no skill. But with survival, you have to earn every block. And that's remarkably satisfying. My Instant Pot. I like cooking in it because food is faster, and after a busy day, I just can't be fucked. On a work night in winter it's definitely used more than not. But not all foods taste better, and actually most foods don't taste better, but I will take a flavor hit for a time saving of 4 hours. Also, not everything can be made in the IP. Try telling that to the IP fan base though. Or outing yourself as a pothead. Edit Jeebus. I have started them off. There's so much stuff like this in cooking. I love my cast iron, I like subreddit cast iron, but some of those folks are a bit off in the head. There really are things that non-stick is better and easier for. Vinyl records. I can't tell if some collectors are serious, but the attitude towards people's first hauls is disgusting. Dark Side of the Moon is one of the most popular albums of all time. It is also a very beautiful album, much more than a random soul album. It is obviously going to be picked up for both these and its cultural impact. You do not need to shit on people for having it, even if they think they are so cool for having it. It's the same with record players. You can tell people that Crosleys are a bit shit without insulting them. Obviously you should do research before a hobby, but it isn't like it's a niche hobby, so stop acting holier than thou because you have a custom-built system, and only collect Japanese pressings of Zimbabwean ambient noise. As an ex-audio engineer, I used to hate vinyl. It's pretty much impossible to listen the way the studio intended. I asked a friend who's a big-time engineer but listens to vinyl. He explained that it's a personal measure to get physical with the media. You can't just skip a song or half-listen while doing yard work. You actually need to take time out of your day and actively participate. He also explained that each album is unique, and no one will have the same imperfections as you. Completely changed my thought process. While it may not be studio perfection, it makes you appreciate the art. Wait, are there actually people out there who will shit on you for buying Dark Side of the Moon? On the internet, some people will shit on anything. Metal music. There's so many different kinds of metal, a lot of people where I am instantly think I am a Satanist. Yeah, I get you. Metal is a huge part on my identity, and has massively impacted my life. However, I don't actually have many friends who do listen to metal. When I am around metal fans, I always feel like somebody is trying to catch me out. Like I could say, oh, I like Brothers of Metal and Manowar, and then some black metal fan would be like cliché garbage compared to Mayhem. There are so many niche subgenres of metal that a metal community is basically non-existent. I agree with this so much. I am a black woman, and the amount of times I have been gatekept is ridiculous. I never mention the music I like unless someone explicitly asks. Guitar Center is the worst for this too. When I am buying gear, I am always asked what bands I like. I name a few, and there's always a quiz. Musical theater. Star Trek. I am actually a huge Trekkie, but I never bring up anything related to Star Trek unless someone else does first. I have a theory that outside of conventions and the like, most Trekkies keep their love of Star Trek quiet until someone makes a vague reference and another person realizes, after that they talk about it loads. 7 out of 9. Number 7 of 9. Lego. I avidly built Lego sets up until I was about 15 or 16, then I got a girlfriend. I thought she would think I was lame being a sophomore in high school who still played with Lego. I put my sets away and stopped building, but deep down I still really wanted to build. I have gotten back into it now and have gotten my fiancé into it as well, but I still feel some mild embarrassment going into the Lego store or Target and walking out with a set. Edit. I got on to look for some HDMI recommendations, and was shocked to see over 300 replies to this comment. Thanks everyone for the kind words and reassurances. I suppose I misinterpreted the question a bit. I am not embarrassed by the Lego fan base, but like I said, just embarrassed to admit that I enjoy them and buy. I try to keep in mind that I shouldn't be embarrassed, but I still have that little voice in the back of my head that feels like I am too old for it. I get over it though, and I enjoy the shit out of building with my fiancé and displaying our work. Holy shit. I totally have the money now to walk into Target and buy a set. It's been so automatic not to buy Legos for so long. Thanks, Op. I know what I am doing tomorrow. Stop making me jealous. Don't be embarrassed. I am super into Lego and I am 32. I tell everyone who asks what my hobbies are. I have never gotten shit for it. In fact, some people have given me old sets their kids or whoever didn't want. H.A. Your lemme. J or K. I am 40 and I am staring at my Lego Millennium Falcon, Tantive 4, and Saturn V sets. All purchased and built within the last 3 years. I have no children. Fuck that. I got into Lego when I was in kindergarten. It helped me with problem solving, visual instructions, fine motor coordination. Then you get something cool with a sense of accomplishment. As time goes by, you use your imagination to create new things, which is engineering and planning. Lego is awesome and I'll defend that all day. Eminem. Same, if I tell people I like Eminem, they just assume I like the fast rap, and that I think Eminem is the best rapper. I can only listen to Eminem by myself, it how people can listen to him, and vibe to it together. His music is brutal in a way, and uncompromising with his lyrics where they become everything. I can listen to them and laugh or get serious or try to hear all the words, but it's not bumpin' chillin' out music by any stretch. Edit. I lied, I can listen to them with other people, but I get the most out of it listening alone. Dream. I really like his videos and he's really cool to me, but I don't want to be associated with the stans who take it way too far. Same with Hermitcraft Mumbo or Brian especially, people can be really fucking toxic for no reason. Wine, but I hate the wine mommy culture. Yes, I have kids. But that has literally nothing to do with why I love wine so much. Seriously, why is there a culture around what basically amounts to moms being so sick of their kids that they need to be drunk to handle it? I am a mom, I drink wine or beer occasionally in front of my kid, usually with a meal, or watching a sports game on TV. Sure, I occasionally need a small break from being a mom and go out with my friends for a drink. But the moms who try to pull out wine at playgroup at 10 a.m. because LMAO mommy needs some mommy juice. Yeah, no thanks. I am not a mom, but my friends are moms in their 30s. One is a borderline alcoholic, and her group of friends seriously get together after dropping the kids at school to drink. But it's cute because it's mommy wine time. I loved having Caleb handle a vodka time, but all I got out of that was a fucking trip to rehab. No cool stickers or a cup with my initials. Should have bedazzled the bottle. I am actually 4 years sober. Seeing these chicks make their drinking problem a cute personality trait is pretty annoying. I have a friend who recently got sober after she realized how much her mommy wine lifestyle was actually a problem. It was a lot of work for her to get and stay sober, and I truly believe that one of the reasons she was able to function and live as an alcoholic for so long was because she could lean back on the mommy wine culture and nobody batted an eye at it. Fanfic writing. It's hard enough when you bring up you write, but it is a different level when it's fanfic. For me it's reading fanfic. I have been reading since I was 12 or 13, and for some reason, I have always felt really weird about it. It might be because of how little taste I had back then. I read some terrible stuff back then, but it opened the door for some truly amazing writing. I have tried writing, but haven't the heart for it. Kudos to you who write. You give me the stories I want and need when the original works aren't enough to satisfy my appetite. You put yourself out there and spend hours of your time creating and receive nothing but the sporadic praise of random internet strangers. I actually had an awesome conversation recently where I waxed somewhat eloquent on the subject to an older colleague who'd never heard of it before. It felt so good to be proud of reading fanfiction. I am still tentative about telling others about my reading, but I am starting to get better about it. It's no different than reading published novels. Some FICS are longer than full-length novels. They deserve to be read. I literally tell people I write short stories instead of saying fanfic. It has the worst reputation, when in reality, there are some truly amazing works out there. Non-judgmental question. What is the appeal of writing fanfic as opposed to original short stories? Edit. For God's sake, does anyone know how to turn off notifications for replies? This question was answered 6 hours ago. All your setup work is already done for you. Character background, setting, personalities, heroes and villains, what people look like. It's all there already, and you can just get right to your story idea. Not that writers don't change some of that, or occasionally nearly all of it, but you still only have to world build for the parts you changed. Plus you have an audience setting out. fan works have much better odds of getting some attention than original content. And then, if you're really lucky, your fanfic gets turned into a movie. Or you change it a bit to be more original and single-handedly destroy BDSM. To me, it lessens the blank page syndrome to an extent. You get the world and characters already made, then simply concentrate on relationships, what-ifs and gap fillers. It's a really creative way to engage with the material and analyze it. For me, I have an obsession with TV shows. When my favorite ones end, I struggle because I want more of it. That's how it started, reading FIC and enjoying it. From there I had ideas using those characters. They are so vivid on my mind that it is a natural, as opposed to writing original stories takes way too much time, world and character building. I have started to write original works too, but I get lost in the details of it, rather than spending time actually writing. Pop punk or emo-ic, a lot of people seem to be annoyed by them. Yes. I think especially the MCR stans on Twitter, the only thing they do is talk about ships and harass the band members and their families. I love the band and the whole pop punk or emo genre, but these people worship celebrities too much. It's like it's not even about the music anymore. MMA or kickboxing. I love watching the sport and I even train, but they're the most annoying group of douchebags possible. They claim to be humble but are really not. Edit 1. When I say they claim to be humble, I am talking about the fans. The guys who train are pretty nice because they understand the reality of the sport. Edit 2. It could just be me. T00L, edit. Wow, thanks for the upvotes 3. Man, yeah, I fucking love Tool, but I don't really want to talk to a guy in a Tool shirt. I still love Undertale, and I think it's a fantastic game. I don't want to be lumped in with the people who never fucking shut up about Sans. Or the ones trying to kill each other over ships. I just want to enjoy the game in peace. My friend once said, there's more to Undertale than Sans and Papyrus. Your friend is correct. Completely agree as a fellow Undertale fan. I also hate all the pressure people put on Toby Fox to make a sequel. That first message he put out after Chapter 1 of Deltarune broke me. He was clearly struggling and buckling under the pressure, and I didn't want to be a part of the fandom anymore. Anyone can love a game, and you can share that view, you just don't need to shove it down people's throats. From recent announcement I got more the vibe that he was a workaholic with a recent disability that's frustrating him because it impairs his ability to perform all his skills. Yeah, definitely agree. From the recent update, he seems to be a lot happier despite the struggles with his disabilities. I was referring more to the announcement and excitement after the first chapter of Deltarune was released. Bring me the horizon. I know, right? Literally every comment section under older music videos. New BMTH fans will never find us here. 1984, it's probably my favorite book, but I have never met another person whose favorite book is 1984 who wasn't completely insufferable. Interesting. It's not my favorite book, but it's definitely an amazing book. Hope I am not insufferable. You're probably not. It's just that most of 1984's vocal fans tend to be either tinfoil-clad conspiracy theorists or 17-year-olds who think they are so much more enlightened than the sheep who failed to realize that insert their least favorite political party is just like Ingsoc. If someone tells me their favorite book is 1984, my eyes nearly roll out of my head. Then I realize, oh wait, my favorite book is 1984. If someone tells me their favorite book is 1984, my eyes nearly roll out of my head. Then I realize, oh wait, my favorite book is 1984. This is how I feel about being Christian. Rolls eyes. Oh wait. Same. Supernatural. Those extreme fangirls are fucking nuts. I enjoy the show, but I would never openly admit to it. I made that mistake a couple of times in the beginning. Never again. It is hard to be a Supernatural fan, it is even harder when you are female. I agree, people automatically assume if you're female you only like it because of the hot guys. The monsters and lore are far more interesting than swooning over the men. Although I'll admit the cast have great personalities, and convention or blooper videos are a laugh. I was looking for this one. Yep, I love the show, and everybody who works on it seems great, but the fangirls and especially the super hulock folks just. I am glad they're happy, but I would rather not be associated with them. That's how I feel about Arrowverse stuff. Apparently you either need to be a huge DC fan, I only know what I have seen in the shows and newer movies, or be a middle schooler. I just like the fact that one of the shows is a guy hits stuff accurately with fists and arrows, another is a guy solves his problems by running really fast, and another is we don't know what to do with these characters, so we're going to make them time travelers, and it will somehow be one of our best series. Yes. I went to the convention a couple times and it was fun, but some of the people there, they'd ask questions about insanely specific or personal stuff, like miles per gallon on the Impala, or stuff about the actors' personal lives. It's so cringy. I loved the show, though I gradually stopped watching around season 6 or so. But some of the fangirls seem to know every little detail, like the exact episode the main actors met their wives, what this one-off character's inseam is, the actors' kids' birthdays. It's creepy. And if you're not as devoted as they are, you're not a real fan. Supernatural fangirls are just as exclusionary and gatekeepy about the show as the stereotypical hardcore gamer, who tells you you're not a real gamer if you don't know how much Master Chief's helmet weighs. It's obnoxious and a big turn-off. I really enjoy trying different whiskeys, notably bourbons, but I can't say I would enjoy the snobbishness, sophisticated attitudes, and overpricing that comes with it. My so works in the booze industry, and I sat in on a whiskey class they did. The facilitator said some famous person drinks or makes this whiskey. I said, you know, Matthew McConaughey has an impressive collection. I hear it's all right. It was a prouder moment in my life. I am not very witty. As a side note, Matthew McConaughey is actually the creative director at Wild Turkey, and collaborated with their master distiller to make an excellent IMO bourbon called Long Branch. It's a whiskey business. D&D. Some people are great to play with, but my god, there are a lot of toxic, socially awkward, and often creepy guys in the community. People who just lack social skills, and will often say lewd, inappropriate things to any girls who play in their games. Whenever I DM, if a player makes a random sexualized remark for no reason, especially to a female player, they get one warning in private. If they do it a second time, they're banned. Worked well so far, but damn, is it a shame that such a significant minority of players can make D&D uncomfortable for girls to play. I was lucky, as a young female, to find a not sexual D&D group fast, but unfortunately they have a lot of my hero is super edgy and quirky, you better like him, not generic, I swear. My group fell apart because two of our players were so dedicated to their chaotic part of chaotic good that they ended up fighting each other over 15 gold with the whole my guy syndrome. This makes it hard to look for a group as a woman, or even find the courage to do so. I like the way you manage the problem. AM female, left the gaming community entirely because of creepy men, and also men who feel the need to talk over me constantly to the point where they'll straight up skip over my turn. Ugh. Homestuck. Same. I literally scrolled all the way down here to see if anyone had mentioned Homestuck. Rick and Morty. I don't want to be classified with the people who rioted over Szechuan sauce. I knew this would be here. The fanbase is absolutely insufferable sometimes. Far too many people idolize Rick and somehow miss that the whole point is that he's a terrible person. Also, maybe it's just me, but all their merch is awful. If I find something that doesn't include Pickle Rick, Wubba Lubba Dub Dub, Swifty, or some obnoxious quote about being smarter than everyone else, I consider it a miracle. Doctor Who. I fucking love it, but good gracious, is that a cringy fandom? My Hero Academia. One of my favorite shows, but Jesus, the fan base is toxic. I went on a date with a coworker, and the date consisted of going to his place, ordering food, and starting My Hero Academia from the beginning. He was so excited about it, but I had worked with him for probably about a year, and never even heard him mention anime before. I asked him why he had never expressed his likes for this particular show, and he said, "I don't want people to think I am an asshole." He also collected comic books, Star Wars memorabilia, and hosted watch parties for The Mandalorian. Like such a huge part of his life that he never spoke publicly about because of how fan bases are portrayed. It was eye-opening. Same. The world building and characters are all very great, and it has some of the best power scaling I have seen in shonen, but it gets a bad rep because of a smaller majority of the fanbase being so outspokenly obnoxious to people online. Honestly, I really love the universe of Harry Potter. But I really hate how some people think their house is a personality trait. Sorry I didn't call you back, I am a Slytherin. Oh, you read that book? Very Ravenclaw of you, you're giving me such Hufflepuff vibes right now, so quirky face with stuck out tongue and winking eye. Please STFU. LMAOW. WTF, people actually do this. Let me introduce you to Blue Check Twitter. What is Blue Check Twitter? Just verified people. Yep, one of my friends is completely like this. She's also one of those girls who's really into zodiac signs and treats them kind of the same. She's a Slytherin and a Gemini, if that helps, haha. Oh gods, she's a Gemini. That explains it. Or S. I really love pro wrestling. Not just WWE, but stuff from Japan and Mexico too. I am a big nerd about it. Otherwise, I am a normal professional dude. While I have started to get over it as I have gotten older, I would hate for my clients to know how much time I spend watching punchy ballet. Edit. My new top comment is me admitting that I watch something that I don't want anyone to know I watch. I understand. Some people kind of get it. Others no way. Haven't watched in a solid year or two, but I can relate. Recently, this has become me. Thanks to some good friends I made a couple of years ago who got me into indie wrestling because they are super into it, I started watching NJPW and AEW and Defy, and I realized I really enjoy it. It's watching charismatic athletes do cool as stunt work for an hour or two with just enough of a thin veneer of story to make you care who wins. Since then I have gotten into it enough to also become one of those nerds who sometimes finds the industry meta and the history more interesting than the matches themselves. I am also a normal professional dude, so I don't really bring it up outside of my immediate friends group, but if I meet another fan I will yammer for hours about it. Zero. Mito. 21 Pilots. I love the music, but the fans can be obnoxious. Same. When someone says top or 21p, there's a good chance someone will lose their mind. Fortnite. Can't really add to that. Same here. I just play it without a battle pass to turn off my brain for a few hours. I barely have an understanding of the fan base, which is why I play solo and mute my mic. Same, I play Team Rumble for the quick RESP-ons to chill after work. And every Friday night I have a duos date with my much younger sister, where I catch up with her middle school life, and we talk while playing duos. Anime. just watch anime because I enjoy watching animated people beat each other up. I actually never thought of Japan differently because of it. Same, I assumed it's like North America life being shown in TV shows. Not accurate, and the accurate parts are exaggerated out of proportion. My problem is that I always meet people who have this delusion that their life must be an anime or hentai, and that if they follow that logic they'd become this popular leader with a harem. Like dude, just watch the shows, enjoy the merch, and don't fucking go to Japan thinking you'd be treated like a god. I can't stand the people who think they're Japanese because they've learned a few Japanese words from watching anime, or the people who act like Japan is some magical wonderland because of anime. People like that are part of the reason why the anime community as a whole gets a bad name, even though most anime fans are decent people. Exactly. I am a fan of anime myself. I never went that delusional. Although I do want to go to Japan, it is not solely anime-based. I am not going to get a wand and immediately become queen, or an idol. I loved Japan. The food, the history, everything was so amazingly clean. The language is fun, there are tons of museums and historical sites to see. The geography is great, taking the train up to Hakone was amazing. I had a crazy experience doing an emergency Airbnb after Saudella shut down the airport. It was an amazing experience. Didn't go there to do anything anime related. If I were near the Ghibli Museum, I probably would have stopped by, but you have to make a trip. Oh, and we stopped at the Mega Tokyo Pokemon Center to pick up some souvenirs. Hell, even the airport has showers. No joke. If you ever get a layover at Narita, go take a shower, especially since chances are you just spent literally half a day in a metal tube with other metal tube goers. Be the cleanest dude or dudette on the next metal tube you sit in. I guess the point is, there are a lot of reasons to go to Japan. Anime is not even close to the best reason. Take sunscreen and good shoes. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. The JoJo's fanbase is both one of the best and one of the worst I have seen. They've made some incredible fan creations, music, art, fanfic, etc., and generally are quite friendly and non-hateful or discriminatory. On the other hand, some people seem to think that everything must be about JoJo. I would love to talk about JJBA with people I like, discussing series I enjoy, but it can understandably annoy people when it's brought up too much, even in places where it isn't at all relevant. Holy shit bro, was that a JoJo reference? Kono di Ioda. Ora ora muta. Is that a JoJo reference? Yar yar darara. Twilight when it was at its most popular, but I am not embarrassed about it anymore. I feel like the fanbase has grown up and matured with the books, and we can laugh about the cringe parts of the series while still loving it. I read the first 3 or 4 when I was in high school because my buddy's girlfriend got him to read them, and he said they were good. I really enjoyed them even though Bella annoyed me a lot of times. The world the author built was really interesting, and there was a lot of action and excitement in all the books, especially the last one. I am in a similar situation but a bit older. I read them because I had a boring job at a super slow hotel, and the first shift girl would leave them on the counter when she left, so I would read them on my shift. I am not a huge fan of Twilight the story, but the world building was pretty good. That being said, I would kill for a Carlisle Cullen book. I like the Twilight Saga. I even got a tiny bit excited when I read she was releasing Midnight Sun. And I work in a library. But it's escapism pure and simple. Those vampires can't sparkle dudes really get on my wick. They're invented. They're pretend. If SM wants to invent sparkly vampires, then she's allowed. She's literally writing fiction. It's all made up. I don't even like the Twilight series. I thought it was awful. But man, I saw a documentary on the series that went to a convention in the town from the book. After learning the way that it brought people who felt like outcasts together. I have a new love for the series. It's not my cup of tea, but seeing people engaging with something they love with others just makes my heart melt. So I'll say that I am a fan, and I am proud of it. Disney. Good movies, the parks are a good time, Dole Whip is pretty good. But holy shit, the fans are fucking insane. Marching band. No, I don't think it's a sport, but I really do enjoy the aspect of it being a physical way to express talent and musicianship at the same time. And plus the loudest marching bands are just cool ASF to watch. Nobody in my family or friend's family ever joined marching band. Then my kid joined, and I started calling it the cult of marching band. My wife and I even go sucked into pit crew, which we gripe about but secretly really like. Though I might call you out for a humble brag, because other than its slightly cultish behavior, marching band is super wholesome and full of good life lessons. And that S from a guy who doesn't fully get it even after 2 seasons. RuPaul's Drag Race. The fans are the most toxic, hateful fandom I ever encountered, and every fan I met in real life was an asshole. But I still enjoy watching it. Not to start a dogpile, but RuPaul is kind of toxic all on his own. Teslas and electric cars in general. I love them, but spending tens of thousands on a car does not mean you directly help the environment or cured cancer. I agree, as a Tesla owner some of the owners can be insufferable. That said, I do like supporting companies that are trying to do better for the environment, but that does not freaking make me Captain Planet or something. Marijuana. I like pot as much as the next guy, but gods I wish some people were explained that smoking pot is not a personality. I have found it's way better in states where it's legal cause than it's far more normalized, and most adults just treat it like drinking. When everyone is doing it, there's not much reason to base your personality around it. Pokemon games. I am 27, so I am pretty sure if people knew I love Pokemon then I'd get teased a lot. My cousin's son said, Pokemon is for grown-ups when his dad asked him if he wanted to play. Unreal. I remember being a kid and thinking I'd have to stop being into Pokemon once I grew up. Turns out you don't have to, lol. When I became a man I put away childish things, including the fear of childishness, and the desire to be very grown up. C.S. Lewis. Fuck that dude, most people in our age group I am 25 grew up playing, and watching Pokemon, and should be well over the middle school phase of bullying people who still enjoy it. Just own that one, it's perfectly fine, and you should never feel ashamed of it. I don't know where you live, but a lot of my friends play Pokemon still. Some for nostalgia, some because they still find it fun. Pokemon was such a big thing in so many people's childhoods, I don't think people will give you much shit for it for still enjoying it. I really like crystals. I have quite a few because I think they're pretty, but when people see them they automatically assume I am into crystal healing or some other nonsense. Nah, I just like pretty rocks. Same with my salt lamps. Astonished nobody said Star Wars yet. You can put 2 Star Wars fans in the same room, and they'll still be off at each other about which films are worst. I am not innocent of it, but it can get so uncivilized. Edit. I hope you kids arguing about Star Wars in the comments know how ironic that is. Also, since you asked, my favorite is Empire. They drove the guy who voiced Jar Jar to the brink of suicide. If you've not seen it already, I strongly recommend you look out the video of Ahmed Best talking about taking his son to the bridge where he attempted suicide. It's not terribly old. Very impactful and certainly a stark reminder that not enjoying a film is no excuse to bully a person. Source. And the poor dude who played Anakin in Phantom Menace quit acting and really seems miserable anytime Star Wars is brought up. I'll say that I hate Rise of Skywalker very passionately, and enjoy heated discussions about it, and the Disney era of Star Wars in general. But I can at least see that nothing is worth making another human feel like garbage because of a harmless opinion, or their involvement in a subpar piece of media. Jake Lloyd has paranoid schizophrenia now. It's hard to say how much being bullied because of the movie has to do with it, but nobody deserves that. Especially because he was a freaking kid. I love Star Wars, and while I have my own problems with the newer movies, I also don't mind them as a whole. Some fans are so passionate and really get heated when they start shitting on the worst films. Hamilton. I don't think knowing all the lyrics is bad. But when they think they know you's history from watching it is a huge problem. See, I did learn some about you's history from it, but it also started me on a journey of learning what was real, and what was changed in the show, and yes, I do know all the lyrics, but that's just because I am a theater kid through and through. I ended up reading all of Rob Chernow's biography of Alexander Hamilton. Exactly, the show is great for giving you the very, very basics, but it is by no means accurate enough for someone to claim they know US history. There are great videos out there that go over the whole play and correct LMM's mistakes, and I absolutely love them. Wait, this isn't a Formula One thread. Rick and Morty. Love the show, but the fan base is obnoxious. Everyone thinks they are a Rick, but in reality they are just a Jerry. Admittedly, I have not actually watched the show aside from a few online clips, but isn't Rick an asshole, an accomplished mad scientist, of course, but an utter asshole nonetheless? Wishing to be like him seems misguided. It is. It's like wanting to be like Cartman. People don't care though. Rick is a suicidally depressed mad scientist. Don't forget genocidal. I once heard him briefly forget the word for human. The worst part about that is that people make the same mistake watching him as they do watching House. Both of those characters got away with being huge assholes because they were amazingly talented geniuses. People watch them and see the fake respect they receive on the show, and just emulate the only part of their personality that they are capable of, being an asshole. Then they think they are treated as someone smart and respected. The funny thing is that if you actually pay any real amount of attention to either show, it's obvious you shouldn't want to be Rick or House. They're both fucking miserable. They're compelling characters, but they're also both clearly unwell and cope with it in self-destructive ways. I suspect it's a power thing. Rick is, actually, literally the smartest man in any room in any universe. To the point where he, canonically, outsmarted an entire city of himself from parallel dimensions. So yeah, asshole or not, I can see why people want to be him. They just lack the crucial quality of, actually being smart. I would imagine there's also a degree of self-insertion, or wish fulfillment taking place too. Rick is a depressed and lonely drunk specifically because he is so smart and powerful. He's essentially reached a higher plane of existence, to the point that nothing really matters to him, and he can't connect with others. Lonely, depressed drunks see this and think, ah, that must be it. I am simply so smart, that must be why no one likes me. It's a justification for an unsatisfying lifestyle, which is an appealing thing. They think they're the smartest in the room. So true. It's like, yeah, the writing is good, but the fans didn't write it, they just watched it. I don't get why they are so pretentious about it. Agreed. It's a hilarious show, but not a personality trait. Also, everyone gets the jokes. You're not smarter than others because you do. K-pop. There, I said it. I like some songs, but holy good mother of mercy, some fans are just the worst. Especially when said fans are your relatives, hated the tantrums they went into when they got a piece of new they didn't like. I am half Korean, but live in the US. I have had more than one K-pop stan have an existential crisis when I tell them I am indifferent to K-pop. They cannot comprehend the fact choreographed music isn't as ingrained to Korean culture as kimchi or soju. Hell, I am full Korean, and I have been physically threatened by non-Korean K-pop stans for liking Chinese music more. Me too. I like the music and performances, but holy shit, the fans are insane. I love it. I am an adult, but I first enjoyed K-pop as a teenager. But the teenage fans are just so obnoxious. Fandom wars and people that are delusional about their favorite idols. The annoying YouTube comments and the spamming all over Twitter. When fans get butthurt that idols start dating, as if they aren't allowed to have personal lives. Some people make their personality entire about K-pop. I love K-pop, but I keep that to myself mostly, and I am realistic. Most of all these idols are not perfect humans. K-pop was the first thing that came to my mind. I am not even ashamed of it, plus in the latest years I lost quite a lot of interest in it, but when it comes up in a conversation, I get many stupid questions, and it's just exhausting. Harry Potter. I have loved the series since I was a kid, but some people are super weird about it, like the ones that treat houses like zodiac signs. I totally get the nostalgia factor. For a lot of people it was the first series they got into where they really anticipated the release of the next book, begged their parents to go get it, and then stayed up all night reading it. But I think it's really cringy to talk about how you're so nerdy because of your Harry Potter themed wedding or baby shower or nursery, etc. I like the fan base but can relate to the example given here. K-pop. PPL assume I want to learn Korean, move to Korea, and become Korean. I just like the production value of the music vids, that's about it. Edit. Nothing wrong learning Korean or any other language, just don't want PPL to assume that all K-pop fans learn it. Some PPL like K-pop for the language, others for dancing, others for the concepts or fashion, etc. I feel ashamed to say this, but I think the first FNAF game is incredibly influential to horror games. I also like the lore, but I cannot bring that up anywhere besides Reddit because all the 3-year-olds. FNAF is an amazing horror concept, and the story is horrifying. But FNAF Chica Feet Fart Finds Freddy Bonnie funny, and the people who watch it are fucking abysmal. Please don't mention the fetish art, like, ever. Reddit. Some have commented that me editing my post is something they don't like about Reddit. So hey, race the 2 edits I always see. Edit 1. Wow, thanks guys. I never thought such an obvious answer would blow up like this. Edit 2. DM boobs. On mobile I sometimes get that "Are you enjoying Reddit?" pop-up. I am torn on how to answer it. Dave Matthews Band. At the concerts I think these guys are great musicians, and also look around and think, ugh, what a bunch of dorks here. Pink Floyd and JoJo. I have never identified as a gamer because while I like playing video games, I really only like certain ones, and a lot of mainstream hits just don't appeal to me at all. And I don't get into merch and collectibles and other stuff. I don't flaunt the fact that I like to play games, so I really don't relate to most gamers. Like for me, going to a subreddit gaming feels like a bizarre experience for some reason. I have just never felt like I belong in that crowd. All of the Twitch lingo and dumb memes are completely lost on me as well. To me, all of the stuff surrounding gaming culture is pretty obnoxious. I feel like it's hard to find people in the hardcore casual group for gaming and anime in my experience. I like games. I play games a lot. It's one of my biggest hobbies, but I am just not as into it as other people. Where some people spend all their time getting good at each game, I will get bored with a game after a while. Some people play every single game they can, and I am a bit pickier. I just can't find myself being that abozabed into something. Red Letter Media. They make fun videos and I enjoy their movie critiques. Plus I have found that me and Jay have pretty much the same taste in movies, so I pay attention to his recommendations. But holy shit, I cannot even look at the comments from their fans anywhere online without cringing. Even the people who hate them are ridiculous. It's like everyone involved wants to invent some kind of crazy fanfic about these ordinary middle-aged guys in the Midwest, who just want to make fun internet videos. Food. Foodies are the fucking worst. I was a professional chef for a decade and worked with some of the finest ingredients available, but I still ate chicken finger baskets at bars and made dinner on a George Foreman grill at home. Appreciating food is one thing, but when it becomes your personality, you become an insufferable tool. It was the bane of my existence. Veganism. I try like the plague not to mention it because vegans and anti-vegans are literally the worst. I don't mind talking about it, and I know some people are just curious as to my reasons, but sometimes I just want to eat my bean burger in peace. Wow. You are still with us. Thanks for being such a nice person. As long as you are here, why not like this video and subscribe to our channel? Also you can press the bell icon, so you won't miss any future uploads.